Bueno, aunque sabemos que el presidente Donald Trump, como dice una cosa, dice otra cosa, pero sin duda creo que en esto fue algo serio, porque ya que elogió a la presidenta Claudia Sheinbaum y agradeció el tema que pues le propuso la presidenta Claudia Sheinbaum, que es el tema de las campañas antidrogas, sin duda alguna, pues bien por Estados Unidos que vaya a implementar este sistema y esta inversión hacia los jóvenes, hacia los niños, para que de una vez, pues claro, se vaya poco a poco acabando este consumo con las drogas.
President of Mexico, a very wonderful woman, actually. And I said, we were talking about drugs. You can't let people come through your country and come into the country. You know, I was not that nice, but they understood what I was saying. And she said something that really got me. She said, I said, you're not a big drug taking nation? And she said, no, we are not a consumer. And I said, a consumer, what a, you know, an interesting word. We're not a consumer nation. We're not a consumer of drugs. I said, what an interesting, and why is that? She said, well, we have very strong family values. I said, but we do too. We do too. We have very strong, our families are devastated by what's happening with fentanyl, and China will not be we're going to make a deal with China. They were not letting that happen anymore. And I had a deal, by the way, before I left. I had a deal with President Xi where they were going to give the maximum penalty to anybody making fentanyl and sending it into the United States. And the maximum penalty is the death penalty, and it would have stopped. But when the election turned out to be a rigged election, but that's okay. When an election turned out to be, it was an election that shouldn't have happened. All the things that happened. I'll give you an example. We wouldn't have had October 7th, Israel attack. We wouldn't have had Ukraine and Russia fighting. We wouldn't have had inflation. We wouldn't have had all of these things that happened. But in speaking with her, she said about family values, I said, well, you're not really saying anything there because we have great families too. We have great family values. She said, plus we advertise a lot. I said, ooh, you mean you advertise about how bad drugs are? Yes, we do. We spend a lot of money on advertising. And I said, unbelievable. That was such a great conversation because we're going to spend hundreds of millions of dollars advertising how bad drugs are so that kids don't use them, that they chew up your brain, they destroy your teeth, your skin, your everything. And I thanked her for that. I make so many calls and I never learn anything from anybody. I know everything and I never learn anything from anybody. And I spoke to this woman. As soon as she said it, she didn't have to say exactly what. I said, exactly. What a great idea.